Hi and welcome to Torturi. So, as you might have seen, I finally finished Road to Nowhere. It was hard, mostly because of procrastination. Ending such a big project is challenging when you have 1,000 ideas for nuance, especially when the only things that are left are a lot of small corrections and things you know nothing about. So first, I've done some small corrections and bug fixing that I didn't finish before, but then the harder work was left. Translating to English took me forever. It was just a lot of dialogues to translate, but I also had problems with translating it well. It's so weird that some languages are missing words that are so normal in other. So in Polish, which is my native language and the game was originally written in it, there are these separate words for small things, for almost all of the small things. You have dom, which means house, and domek, small house. There's no one word in English for small house. There's cottage, but it isn't just small house. It's something a bit different, right? Or you have kot, which means cat, and kotek, small cat. You have kitten in English, right? So you would think it fits quite nicely. But it means young cat, not small cat. So it isn't a direct translation. And of course, in my game, one of the characters is a little fish. In Polish, ryba means fish, and you have rybka, which means small fish. But in English, this word doesn't exist. In Polish, their name is just mała rybka, which would be translated as small fish. Eventually, I just chose to name them Little Fishling, and I'm quite happy with that translation. It sounds cute enough, right? But there were many such places where I was just missing a word. So right now you can change the language in-game, and if you speak Polish, I think I would recommend it. The only downside with Polish is that we don't really have a way to completely avoid gendered words. So there are some that label the player as he, him, which is not ideal, but I didn't have the energy to make a whole separate version for she, her. So the other big thing to make was the voices and the sounds. Obviously, making voices was way harder than I thought. I struggled so much with even coming up with how to make the sounds for the characters. I wanted to have some speech-like random sounds, so I experimented with making them from my speech and then with making them from recordings of some objects. It didn't work. The ones from speech were too distracting, the one from object didn't sound like something from a dialogue. Honestly, I thought about giving up on that, but I decided to try one more time, a little differently. I cut shorter bits and merged them in larger words. It works. It isn't perfect, but it's still not bad. And it's quite funny that all the characters in the game are voiced by me. I also made sounds for the interactions with the UI, which gave the game a little more life. I recorded them from real life objects, and I had fun doing that and choosing the best ones. They are also far from perfect. I would like to learn how to do it better, but I really don't know if I will have enough willpower to do it. And then, when all of this was finished, finally, I decided to do the final round of testing, hoping that there will be no more places where the players get stuck. Obviously, there were many. I tried to fix them the best I could without, making some drastic and time-consuming changes, because at this point I really had enough of this project. In my eyes, some of the changes are way too visible and obvious, but the later testers didn't notice, so it's okay. For example, people had hard time noticing the crows. So first I added some lighter background behind them, but it was not enough, so I lightened the background once again, but it was still not enough. So now they have like small idle animation. There are still places where players sometimes get stuck, but well, I really needed to finish this project as fast as possible, because if I didn't do it now, I would have never finished it. And I think it's better to publish something that is not perfect than not to publish at all. I spent a lot of time on this game, and it would be quite sad for it to just sit on my disk. I really want people to play it. I even tried some homebrew marketing. We'll see how it goes. If something interesting comes out of it, I will let you know. To sum it up, I cannot say that it was the first game that I made, but it felt a bit like it. It was the biggest game that I have ever made, one that took a good amount of planning and thought. The first one that had some playtesters. Right now, even, the small games that I make for my game jams are usually playtested. And I'm so thankful to my family and friends that are willing to do the testing. I'm really pestering them sometimes about it. And I actually finally published this game, so it is a lot, especially when you have a day job. I don't consider it my best game, maybe because I really struggled with ending it, but I'm still quite proud I made it. Right now, I would do it a bit differently than when I first started it. I think, the thought of having it as my final project for my studies was holding me back quite a bit. I was just a bit too scared to take some of the risks, and at the same time, I wanted a bit too much to make it artsy and with some deeper meaning. For those of you who played the game, I probably won't be making the second chapter. As you can probably hear, I'm tired of this project and I have a lot of ideas for new and different ones. Only if this game would have a big, and I mean big, audience, then I would consider it. Mostly because then the second chapter could be my gateway into being full-time solo dev. But realistically, I don't think it will be this project. Maybe the next one. So yeah, feel free to play it and write some comments, what you liked, what you didn't like. And if you want me to talk more about some aspect of making it, also let me know. I know I don't talk much about specifics. I don't really know what could be interesting for you, but I will be posting some speed paints of the backgrounds because I filmed them when I was making them some years ago. And if you want, you can also check out my other smaller games that I have on itch. I'm quite proud of them, and they are quite different from Road to Nowhere. So yeah, that's all. Bye!